Welcome back to our channel. I'm Ciara.
And I'm Walker, and today we're going to share with you guys our top 10 favorite hikes here in Oahu.
Welcome back to another top 10 video. We are so excited to share with you guys our favorite hikes on the island. We've lived on this island for a few years now and have seen so much of what it has to offer. So on this list, we're going to be sharing hikes of all difficulties, so stay tuned and see which one is right for you.
Just like all of our top 10 videos, you're going to want to stick around to the end because that's where we're going to show you guys our absolute #1 favorite hike here in Oahu.
Getting on to our first hike on the list, that is Twin Falls off the old Pali highway.
This waterfall is only flowing after a good rain. You're gonna walk down the paved, abandoned Pali road and you'll have great views of the Kalalau Mountains and Kaneohe. So I guess even if the waterfall isn't flowing, you'll get these great views of the windward side, so I still would recommend doing it. All right, next one on the list is our favorite sunset one, the Pink Pillbox on the west side. So over here, you're gonna enjoy breathtaking scenery of Waianae and the west side. Generally, there's very little crowds here, which is one of the reasons why we like it, and it's a pretty quick and easy hike. Downside of this hike is it's quite far from Waikiki, and if you do it on a weekday, the rush hour traffic could be terrible for sunset, so you're gonna want to account for that. But I would say it's our favorite sunset spot on the island, and just one of the best hikes on the west side. It's so beautiful over there.
Next up, we have Maunawili Falls, and this is probably our favorite waterfall hike on the island, mainly because there is a pool at the end where you can swim. So this hike can be pretty muddy. You're definitely gonna want some good shoes or even go barefoot.
Bug spray, definitely.
Oh yeah, don't forget the bug spray because this trail has a ton of mosquitoes.
There's a cliff jumping spot here, and then if you guys actually hike up around the back left, there's a hidden water slide, which we love to go to that not a lot of people know about. There's also a little catwalk area up there too. I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna give any more details. It's kind of a hidden gem. So yeah, do your own research on that. Currently, unfortunately, Maunawili Falls, the main trail is closed for restoration. So you guys are actually gonna have to hike in from the Pali highway, and it's gonna make the trail 6.3 miles, and it'll take you anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours. And the nice thing is that it'll be all to yourself because not a lot of people are gonna hike that far to get there.
Yeah.
So
we recently did it with some friends, and I feel like there was only like 2 other people there.
It was the weekend too, so if you went weekday, like you're gonna have the whole waterfall to yourself all day. All right, next on the list, this is probably the most popular hike on the island, honestly for a really, really good reason, Lanikai Pillbox. We especially love this for sunrise. There's actually still crazy crowds even during sunrise, but it's just a great view. You get to see the sun come up behind the Moke Islands and, you know, watch that ocean turn into that beautiful turquoise blue that it does when the sun hits it just right. And it's just an easy hike with really rewarding views. So that's why it's on our list and one of our favorites. It's only 1 mile round trip and would take you anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to get up there.
And then we especially love bringing our swimsuits because one of our favorite beaches, Lanikai, is right down there at the bottom.
If you park down at the Lanikai Park, it'll make a good entry point to the hike, and then also it'll be right next to the beach. So you can kind of do both in that morning.
Okay, so moving on to another waterfall. This is Lulumahu, and we love this waterfall too. The only downside is, like we mentioned earlier, it is one of those ones that doesn't have a pool at the bottom, but it is pretty easy. It's just a little bit longer, I would say, than your average hike.
On this one, you're definitely going to follow the pink ribbons, and if you're smart, have all trails on your phone. That way you don't get lost. Yeah, at the waterfall, you can even get under the waterfall, which is what I always like to do. It's just a quick, easy, fun hike, similar to Manoa, which we'll talk more about later, just a little bit less busy. If you guys don't want to get in trouble at Lulumahu, we would recommend getting the permit for this hunting area. We'll put a link down below, that way you guys can do it legally.
Also, do not keep anything in your cars when you park at Lulu. I've had friends getting their cars broken into, and you just don't want to risk it.
This just kind of goes with all hikes. Even Pink Pillbox, that's another one that's well known for it too. Keep anything out of sight. Like I'm talking even like if you got donuts or like leftover poke, like the people are ruthless out here. Like hide everything you have in your trunk. Honestly, even better, bring it with you.
Okay, moving on to my worst nemesis of a hike is Koko Head.
Yeah, this one.
I did this hike one time before and I told myself I'd never do it again, and then I did it again and I was like, I'm never doing this again, and I threw up like almost to the top of the mountain.
She literally threw up. Like,
we had such a big meal before and I was like, oh no, I am not feeling good right now. So be prepared for a really good workout.
Yeah, so you're gonna be pushing around 600 to 700 elevation gain in a matter of like a half or
20 minutes.
3/4 mile. So it's almost like straight up. And yeah, basically they're like an old abandoned like train tracks that they used to use to get military supplies from the bottom of Koko Head up to the top, and now it's just used for hiking. But it is an intense workout, and yeah, so if you guys are looking for, I would say it's kind of an easy hike, like in terms of accessibility, and you know, there's not any exposed ridges or anything, but it's a really hard workout, so you're gonna want to have your cardio prepared, and yeah,
bring water and hat because there's no shade up there.
Yeah, so we'd recommend not doing this one midday. It's very exposed. You're gonna get really hot and sunburned. Great thing about Koko Head is it's just as beautiful for sunrise and sunset, so either one of those would be great. All right, on to the next one. This is probably one of the lesser known waterfalls on the list. This is Waimano Falls. This is the only other one that you can swim in besides Maunawili. They've got a rope swing, only one with a rope swing that I know of.
Yeah, what's also really cool is it's not just like one, it's layered, so
That's
you can
true.
go up.
That second waterfall was pretty cool.
We just don't go very often because it's so far from us, but people who live around there love going there.
Yeah, this is located in like the Pearl City like area. If you want a rope swing, go here.
Okay, moving on to actually one of my favorite hikes on the island, and something I recommend to everyone when they come here is Hanauma Bay Ridge. So this hike is paved almost the entire way. It is super easy. There's barely any elevation. Parking is easy, and you're rewarded with views of Hanauma Bay, Koko Head, and Hawaii Kai.
Yeah, so I think this is the best.
All
I don't
want
to say like bang for your buck, but like views for effort.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like still pretty close to Waikiki. But yeah, this hike can be as long as you want. You can just hike up and down. You can hike all the way around, which would make it like a 3-hour hike. And we typically just go up to the top, and then there's a little ridge actually in front of that's like looks at Hanauma Bay, and then you have Koko Head in the back. We'll throw up a picture right here that we got, and that's a really great spot for some photos for sunrise. It's not too hard to get to. On to Manoa Falls. You guys have probably heard of this waterfall already. It's maybe even more popular than Lanikai Pillbox. It's up there. It's up there. Hike is pretty short, 30 minutes to 2 hours depending on how long you hang out at the waterfall and how your pace is. It's probably my favorite waterfall to go swimming in, just because the water is so clear and it's just refreshing. I don't know, I always like getting in the water there.
It is. It feels
really nice. It's a beautiful waterfall. It is quite
very
busy.
Tall.
Pretty tall, yeah.
It's very pretty, very tall.
Going into the waterfall, you got to do this at your own risk. We're not recommending that you guys do it because you run the risk of getting, it's like called lepto. It's short for this like type of bacterial infection you can get from any of the water.
Yeah, from all the water in Hawaii.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. You're definitely not going to want to get in if you have any open wounds, and definitely don't drink the water.
If you didn't know that already.
Yeah, like just don't do that.
Okay, up next we have Crouching Lion, which is another very popular hike, but something very worth going to see. Some people think this hike is very hard. Like, we've taken people on this hike and they're like, oh my god, they were so winded. And other people are like, oh yeah, that was like quick and easy. We personally think it's pretty easy, but I think it's because maybe we do it so often. Yeah,
our idea of what easy is different than most. Like, Koko Head for us is like, that's extreme. That's advanced for us because that's like hard cardio wise, while Crouching Lion, you know, we think is easy, but for other people it'll be the other way around. Like, Crouching Lion isn't as much of a cardio workout as it is trying not to slip and pulling on ropes and stuff like that. If you're not in great shape and you don't have good shoes and you know you're not comfortable with grabbing ropes, then don't do Crouching Lion. It could be kind of dangerous. Once you're at the top, there's just incredible views of the windward side, great for sunrise. Kahana Bay is over there on the left side. There's lots of exploring you guys can do up there.
And last but
Oh
not
man,
least,
we're already on to the number one. We're just flying through this, you guys.
our
Drum
most
roll.
favorite hike on the island, Olomana.
Olomana, 3 peaks. This one is difficult and dangerous. Very experienced hikers die here on a regular basis, unfortunately. This actually just happened around a month ago, and it's just very scary. With Olomana, we would only recommend going to the first peak, and you have to keep in mind there is some sections where you're basically rock climbing, and there's, you know, cliffs on each side. But once you get up to the top, the views are just unbelievable, especially for sunrise if you're able to get up that early.
You're also going to take into account weather when you do this hike, because it is very high up in elevation. It's very windy. It can rain really fast. You just don't know what's going to go on with that.
Yeah.
Makes the trail slippery.
Yeah, just be cautious. If you guys aren't experienced hikers, probably wouldn't recommend this. And if you're scared of heights, probably wouldn't do this one either.
All we're saying is just be cautious, even more so than anything else we've mentioned. You have to be very, very, very cautious with all these hikes, but especially this one.
Yeah. You can hike over to the second and third peak. The second peak I heard we haven't done it yet. I've heard it's not too much harder than getting to the first one, but there is some areas that are pretty scary, I guess. And the third peak I would just not do at all. I definitely don't recommend it. That's where a majority of people are falling and dying. So just don't do it, guys. It's not worth it. It's just not. You're getting the better view, honestly, at peak 2 and 1. Just don't do it.
And some of our favorite photos that we've ever gotten in Hawaii were from the first peak, which we'll put right here.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, that concludes our top 10 hikes here in Oahu. We're going to be putting out a lot of this kind of Oahu guide stuff because we've been here for quite a while. If you guys are looking for some great beaches here, we'll link our top 10 beaches video above. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you in the next one.